I think we all have moments where we'll see something that somebody else has done and think to ourselves, oh, I wish I could have thought of that. And that's point of view.
There is something that I'd love to chat about that you address in the book of after deconstruction and reconstruction. So a piece of that is you call it point of view, or perspective is kind of getting a new visual of in this whole process. And could you talk a little bit about that, and particularly in how to be creative is permission to be playful, and why that's so important?
Absolutely. So point of view is our ability to see the same things differently. And really the heart of design process is imagination. And what is imagination but to think differently and to see the same things differently? And often, I think we all have moments where we'll see something that somebody else has done and think to ourselves, oh, I wish I could have thought of that. And that's point of view, that somebody, you looked at something and you saw, you saw a mistake and somebody saw it as an opportunity. Those are the things, how we often hear the story of the Post-it, it was never meant to be, except for this one engineer who realized that the glue that he was developing wasn't truly sticking, but then it had this other use that you could put it on and take it off, and so that is the point of view. And so there are tools that I have developed and that's also inherent in design that helps you intentionally think differently about things. But the overarching mood of that, to basically give yourself permission to do that, is being playful, to be able to play with ideas. And really, that's just like being a child. When we're kids, we're not afraid of making mistakes. We play and we learn through play. And I think that thinking like a designer is kind of like being a child, about everything, in not being fearful. So that's what I love about children, is that they'll play without fearing that they're making a mistake. They're just interested. And so the same thing applies to design, and thinking like a designer is being playful and saying, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And even like having bad ideas or, stupid ideas, because sometimes that's where good ideas come from. You have to get over your preconception that it's only this way. No, there are many different ways, and that's where the playfulness comes into play.
So how do you coach people? For me, that's difficult. I think I've lived a life where I was once that child who had no worry about making mistakes and was playful and had imagination for days. And then throughout my life, I've made mistakes, a whole bunch of them. Turns out I make mistakes, guys. And throughout all, right? Well, and what I noticed that does to me is it creates fears in me, that I fear making a mistake. I fear looking foolish in front of people. I fear not getting things perfect. And therefore I freeze and don't create. I don't innovate. And it seems to me totally counterintuitive when I hear you speak, yet in actual practice, I still feel those fears. And so how do I hack into that permission to be playful?
One is just like what you said, is to give yourself permission to be playful. Even remember that you were a child. I think those things are incredibly important and useful. But then there's some specific tools. One, the fact that it's step by step, the process. I would never ask you, okay, like Randy, now think of your life, the one that you want to live. It's just breaking it down step by step, so that when you're doing it, you're not really worrying about, well, is this the life I want? You're working on pieces of it until it comes together and reveals something for you. So the step by step piece of it is also helpful. Just like, when a child is playing with Legos or construction pieces, you start somewhere and you kind of work through it.